Good evening and welcome to another video. Today is Thursday the 15th of September 2016 and in tonight's video I'm going to look ahead and preview day number 1 of the PDC HappyBet European Darts Grand Prix, which is going to take place on Friday the 16th of September. Now day 1 sees the last 48 stage take place and we'll see 16 matches take place on day 1, with 8 matches taking place in an afternoon session starting at 12 PM and running through to 4 PM UK time, and 8 matches take place in an evening session which again will start at 6 PM and run through for 4 hours until 10 PM. The first match of the afternoon sees Nathan Aspinall take on Jay Foreman. Now I expect this match to be like a trade match, a very tight match. There's not much to split these two players, but I think Nathan Aspinall will edge this match by 6 legs to 5 over Jay Foreman. The second match of the afternoon sees Robert Owen take on Mark Frost. Now Mark Frost used to be prolific on the Challenger Tour last year. It'll be interesting to see if he can convert his form from the Challenger Tour last year and the European Tour this year. And he takes on Robert Owen. Now I don't know much about Robert Owen, but he's done well to qualify for this event. I think Mark Frost will be too strong for him in this match. I think Mark Frost will win this match by 6 legs to 4. The third match of the afternoon sees Joe Murnan take on Dragutin. Now, he's a German player and he's done well in European Tour Event 7. He won his first round back then. It'll be interesting to see if he can beat Joe Murnan in this match. I think that Joe Murnan, if he turns up, will be too strong for his German counterpart in this match. I think Joe will win this match by 6 legs to 3. The next match sees Alan Tabern take on Scott Taylor. Now, Alan Tabern is long past his peak in his career, but can he make a final comeback and reach his peak of a performance in this match against Scott Taylor? Now, again, I don't know much about Scott Taylor, but he's done well to reach this competition. I think it's a tight match, but I think Alan Tabern's previous TV experience will be too much for Scott in this match. I think Alan will nick this match by 6 legs to 5. The next match sees Robert Allenstein take on Darren Webster. Now Robert will have the whole crowd behind him in this match against Darren Webster. Now Darren, I expect to blow out some very good performances in this weekend because he's one of those players, if he puts his back against the wall, he comes up fighting. And I expect Dan Webster to beat Robert in this match by 6 legs to 2. The next match sees Mick McGowan take on Ronny Huybrechts. Now, if these two were to play 10 years ago, this would be a very interesting match. But since then, Mick McGowan hasn't played much darts and has really declined in those years. And Ronny Huybrechts has stayed at that consistent level of performance. I expect that Ronny will be too strong for Mick McGowan in this match. I expect Ronny Huybrechts to win this match by 6 legs to 3 over Mick McGowan. The penultimate game of the afternoon session sees James Hubbard taking on Robert Marijanovic. Now Robert had an impressive World Cup of Darts a couple of years ago. I'd be interested to see if he can replicate that form on the European Tour in this match, in a singles match against James Hubbard. Now James Hubbard hasn't kicked on for his World Youth victory a few years back. We all expected James Hubbard to be the next big name in darts, but he just hasn't been that force. But interesting to see if he can produce some couple of good performances in this European Tour and really kick off his career again. What do I think is going to happen in this match? I think it's a very close match. I think James Hubbard will nick this match by 6 legs to 5 over Robert Marijanovic. The last match of the afternoon session sees Ryan van Barneveld take on Scott Dale. Now Ryan van Barneveld has finally qualified for a European Tour event this year. He failed twice before and now he's here in the HappyBet European Darts Grand Prix. He needs to have a good run to qualify for the European Championships. And he takes on Scott Dale. Now Scott Dale will have done very well to reach this stage. I don't know much about Scott Dale, but interesting to see the character he has in this match against probably the crowd and against a crowd favourite like Raymond van Barneveld. What do I think is going to happen in this match? I think that Raymond will be too strong for Scott Dale in this match, and I think Raymond van Barneveld will win this match by 6 legs to 3 over Scott Dale. The evening session starts with Kist versus Brendan Dolan. Now, these two, there isn't much to separate. Probably Kist has more off days than Brendan Dolan, but apart from that, they're very, very similar players. I think that Brendan Dolan will edge this match by 6 legs to 5 over Kist. The second match of the evening sees Holland-based Tony West take on another Dutch player and Jeffrey de Graaf. Now, both players are more known for their BDO exploits. Tony West is a former World Masters winner, and Jeffrey de Graaf has also won majors in the BDO. But Jeffrey has been a more recent player in the BDO than Tony West, and Tony West hasn't played in the big stage for a long, long time. I expect Tony to show nerves in this match against Jeffrey de Graaf. I think Jeffrey will take advantage of that and win this match by 6 legs to 5. The next match sees Gabriel Clemens take on Jonny Clayton. Now, Gabriel, I haven't seen the European Tour before, and he takes on Jonny Clayton. Now, Jonny Clayton is one of those players who's very, very steady off camera on the Pro Tour events. It'll be interesting to see if he can convert that form into European Tour events. I think he'll win this match over Gabriel, and I think Jonny Clayton will win this match quite convincingly by 6 legs to 1. The next match sees Robbie Green take on Arron Monk. Now, Robbie Green's been in some good form in recent times, and he takes on Arron Monk. Now, Arron Monk has been showing brief signs of his World Youth win before. He showed that at the UK Open in March, but we're now in September. I'll be interested to see if he can carry that form on 6 months. So what do I think is going to happen in this match? I think that Robbie Green will be too strong for Arron Monk in this match. And I think Robbie Green will win this match by 6 legs to 4 over Arron Monk. The next match sees Andy Boulton take on Martin Schindler. Now, Andy Boulton and Martin Schindler are two very comparable players on the European tours. They both expect more from their performances on the European Tour. Now, Martin Schindler got through his first round match last weekend. It'll be interesting to see if he can carry that form on again this weekend against Andy Boulton. Now, Andy Boulton's a consistent player, but he isn't a great player in the PDC. It'll be interesting to see what happens in this match. I think this match will be a very, very close match. I think Andy Boulton will beat the home crowd favourite in this match by 6 legs to 5. The next match is a very, very interesting match. It sees Cristo Reyes take on Max Hopp. Now, Cristo Reyes is a very, very steady player who didn't have his darts with him last weekend. It'll be interesting to see if he's got his luggage this weekend as he takes on the home crowd favourite Max Hopp. Now, Max Hopp should be the best German player in this competition, but he hasn't showed it in previous times. He's still young and he's still learning on the European Tour stage, but he has to back up his potential with wins at some time or other. And I think this match will be very, very close, but I think Cristo Reyes will win this match by 6 legs to 5 and silence the home crowd and put Max Hopp out. The penultimate game of the evening session sees Jermaine Watamina take on Fabian Hertz. Now, this is a winnable match for both players. Jermaine played very impressively in his last 48 match last week, and he takes on Fabian Hertz. Now, he's got through this stage before in the European Tour. Can he replicate his form again in the last 48 stage? I think Jermaine will be too strong for Fabian in this match, and I think Jermaine will win this match by 6 legs to 5 over Fabian Hertz. The last match of the evening sees Devin Peterson take on James Wilson. Now, Devin Peterson was devastated with his loss last week against Ian White by 6 legs to 5, and he can make amends this weekend against James Wilson. He just doesn't have to miscount. If he miscounts, that'll be a big cross in Devin Peterson's box and losing this match. That thoughts from last week, him losing through that miscount. There's been a lot of stories about Devin Peterson in the European Tour. He should have bust 136 the weekend before, but he didn't, and last weekend he miscounted. So something always happens when Devin Peterson plays, and he takes on James Wilson. Now, James Wilson showing some signs of his old BDO form in recent times. It'll be interesting if he can carry this form on against Devin Peterson. I think this will be the match of the day, and I think James Wilson will edge this match by 6 legs to 5 over Devin Peterson. So with that, that's the end of this video. Thank you for taking time to watch this video. If you want to leave any feedback on this video, you can do so either by the comment section below or by my Twitter, which will also in the description below. If you want to leave a like on this video, you can do so. Please do so if you've enjoyed this video. And hopefully you've understood me in this video. I know my voice is quite complicated to understand sometimes, but hopefully you've understood it. I won't be putting subtitles to this video because it's quite late and I'm working early tomorrow morning, so I've not got time to add subtitles to this video, but I might add it to tomorrow's video if I've got enough time. So until tomorrow, I will see you then. Goodbye.